we heard how human rights campaigner Peter Tatchell had been arrested in Qatar. He was staging the first ever public LGBT plus protest in the country.
Well, he was actually seen standing outside the National Museum in Doha wearing this T-shirt saying that Qatar was anti-gay. Obviously a criminal act to be gay in Qatar still, and it's hosting the World Cup in a few weeks' time, causing some controversy because of its human rights record.
And now James Cleverly, the Foreign Secretary, has urged football fans to show a little bit of flex and compromise and to respect the culture of the host nation. This has obviously upset a lot of the LGBT plus community.
Well, let's speak to the man himself. Peter Tatchell now joins us. Thank you very much indeed for joining with your T-shirt, we should add. You're back home safely, but what actually happened to you?
Well, I staged a protest for LGBT plus rights outside the National Museum of Qatar in the capital city, Doha. Then, after about 35 minutes, it took quite a while, state security officials and police arrived. I was put in detention. I wasn't locked up or anything, but I was held on the curbside and not allowed to leave. My placard was confiscated. And then they spotted that my colleague, Simon Harris from the Peter Tatchell Foundation, was taking photos and immediately ran over and grabbed his phone, took him into custody, and then deleted all the images and videos that he'd taken. Fortunately, he'd managed to upload some already, so some did get out. We were then both subjected to about 49 minutes of interrogation about what we were doing, who put us up to it, and so on. And then eventually, much to my surprise, we were released, but told that it was in our interest to go to Qatar airport and leave the country, which is what we did. And I'm now speaking to you from Sydney.
OK, Peter, I just want to read out the full quote from Mr Cleverly, the Foreign Secretary, which has caused so much controversy. But if you see the full quote, maybe there is something in there to assuage you. He said, I have spoken to the Qatari authorities in the past about gay football fans going to watch the World Cup and how they will treat our fans and international fans. They want to make sure that football fans are safe, secure and enjoy themselves. And they know that means they're going to have to make some compromises in terms of what is an Islamic country with a very different set of cultural norms to our own. So the Foreign Secretary said he has raised the issue about gay football fans needing to be able to attend the World Cup and have a good time while they do so. Are you reassured?
But he's also said that the fans must respect the host nation. Well, how can anyone with any conscience respect the dictatorship? Because that is what Qatar is. It's a police state. There's no right to protest, no freedom for expression. This is one of the worst tyrannies. And people who protest normally are locked up and jailed. The only reason I got away with it was because I had a British passport, I had the intervention of the British consulate staff, and, of course, Qatar does not want any bad adverse publicity in the run-up to the World Cup. If I'd done this protest after the World Cup, when the international media had disappeared, I think the outcome might have been quite different. And, of course, for Qatari people, they are at much greater risk. In fact, the Qatari woman walked past me and saw my placard and advised me, put that away, go away, they'll come and they'll arrest you and they'll put you in prison. So that's the view of ordinary Qataris. They don't have those freedoms. And I think it's absolutely shameful that James Cleverly, the Foreign Secretary, wants us to respect that regime. And he's focusing on getting the fans to respect the regime, not on the regime's grotesque human rights abuses against LGBT plus people, particularly against women and migrant workers.
Now, Keir Starmer says he will not be attending the World Cup, not a protest as such, but he's declined to obviously add his name to those travelling to the football. What would you say to those football fans who may decide that they want to go anyway and that their voice should be heard? I mean, how much trouble could they be in?
Well, in contrast to Keir Starmer, James Cleverly is saying that he is going to the World Cup. And that is collusion with tyranny. It's exactly what the Qatar regime wants. They want our politicians to go there, particularly our foreign
Yeah,
secretary.
but what I was trying to get at, sorry,
kudos.
Peter, to interrupt, but what I should get, if a gay football fan decides to go, should they still go and make their point when they're there, or is it just too dangerous for that?
Well, there's a number of issues. First of all, I think all fans should boycott the World Cup because it's giving kudos and credibility to the regime.
Right.
But if they go, yes, make some kind of symbolic statement, sure. Right. The most important thing is it's very difficult for fans to get tickets or hotels or transport or air tickets. So the best thing people can do who can't go is to use their social media platforms to shine a light on the human rights abuses in Qatar. That's what we need. We don't need giving that regime the PR victory that they want. They want our politicians and fans to go there, and they will claim that's an endorsement of their regime.
Thank you, Peter Tatchell. Thanks for your time.